Hi, my name is Tom Doyle, and I'm here at the Guernsey's auction, and I've been in the business of repairing, rebuilding, playing, and restoring guitars for the past 50 years. Essentially, Chet Atkins was a hybrid player. He learned to play by listening to Les and listening to Merle Travis. And Merle Travis was a giant star in the country in Western Field out in California. He admired Merle Travis very much by listening to him on the radio. So those two styles melded into what we became to realize, the Chet Atkins style. Chet Atkins was also a great understanding of jazz. He idolized Django Reinhardt and all of the great big bands in the past. So he encompassed that kind of music into country to create the Chet Atkins style. And Jimmy Webster was the person who would go out and promote the Gretsch guitar by playing, and as well as trying to sign up new artists. And certainly he knew that Chet was on the Grand Ole Opry, and he was playing the D'Angelico at the time. And he knew that Chet would probably like something in his own name. So he would go back to Fred Gretsch and say, I think we can get Chet, but we got to make him something that he would like. And so they had a guitar called the Streamliner, which is very similar to what we call the Chet Atkins guitar later on. And they modified that for him so it would be more to his liking. And they gave it to him and he really liked it. But he said, there's a lot of feedback. Can we stop some of that by making a thicker top? Don't use any F-holes on that guitar, and close them up. It was very heavy though. He made a couple of great albums with it and played it quite a bit, but it was very heavy. And so then they made what we call Dark Eyes. And Dark Eyes became a test bed for another man who developed something for Chet, which was a first humbucking pickup, unbeknownst to a lot of people, and they started experimenting with this particular guitar. And Dark Eyes had some of those first pickups on it. It also had a sealed top, which was no bracing inside of it at all. And the top was laminated, but it was about 1/4 of an inch thick. And it gave him this great ability to have no feedback. He had what we called sparkle F-holes. They cut those out of what they would make drum sets with, because Gretsch was a drum company as well, and then glued them on there. It started out with just a paper F-hole on there, but Chet liked the shape of a D'Angelico F-hole. And so they said, well, we're going to use our F-hole, and that's what you see on it now, the sparkle F-holes. And then you see something else on that guitar. You see on the fingerboard, there's like little round dots that's starting up on the higher end of the fretboard. What could they possibly be? Well, they were magnets they were putting in there to see if they could put coils inside that guitar to capture the bass an octave below. And so that when Chet would play the guitar with his thumb, you would hear this octave below like a bass playing along with him, and they experimented with that also. So this is a highly experimental guitar. He used this on a number of albums. He played it on the Grand Ole Opry. You could see him do Dark Eyes on that. Consequently, the name Dark Eyes for the guitar. And Mr. Scott Chinery, who had one of the major collections in the world, had come to meet Les. Les had told Scott Chinery, you got a giant collection, you should have Tom take care of that collection. So I got a call from Scott Chinery, and he says, I want you to come down to this big party I'm going to have, and I want to introduce you to many other great guitar players and so on, and which he did. And he said, you know, I'd like you to take a couple of guitars and take care of them for me. I have some people that are doing some things for me, but you can fix things that they can't. That's how it started, and I had seen Dark Eyes there, and I said, gee whiz, I really admire that guitar. He said, you know, you're the connection between Chet and Les, and you should have this guitar. I said, well, I can't afford to buy that guitar. And I said, but I'll tell you what I'll do, Scott, I'll work it off on different repairs that I do for you and restorations. And about a month or two later, I brought the jobs that I was doing down to his home. And he said, by the way, that Chet Atkins guitar? I said, yes. I know it's going to take a long time to work that off. He said, no, it's not. It's yours. You're going to take it home today. What? He said, it's yours. I want you to take it home today. And that's how I got it. So I've owned it since, I guess it was probably since 2000, right around that time. So a collectible guitar is one thing. A historical guitar is something else. And looking behind me, that's what we have behind us. There's two historically great guitars. Collectible in the sense that they should be in museums. And so a guitar that just anybody owns or has, and it's had it for many years, and it was a 1959 Les Paul, that's great too, but that's a production guitar. it's not what we have behind us. These are especially made for these two great artists.